All right. I think we're good. Somebody's going to tell me if we're not. But what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Own the Chaos. I'm finally back online. I'm just going to keep talking until somebody tells me to stop. It has been an unbelievable last 5-6 days. And we're going to continue to get this going, guys. But it has been a little bit of a rough start, but that's okay. We'll keep adapting as things come, and it is all good. It's always part of the journey. It's going to be an amazing story to tell at some point. If you guys can hear me, fine. Put it in the chat. Let me know where you guys are at. We haven't done a roll call in a while. So let's do that. Who wants to give me a roll call? Where are you guys from? Let me know where you're at. Would love to hear from you guys. Listen, today we have a bunch of earnings that we're going to be covering. I know that the S&P is also kind of dumping right now. It doesn't look pretty out there, but listen, it's just one of those days. I mean, we've had some incredible weeks, and we're due for a pullback. See a lot of people mentioning. I see Philip Stroh talking about taking a beating. It is what it is, right? It's just one day. I don't think that there's a whole lot to worry about. A lot of people are worried about, what's going on with NVIDIA and some of the other semiconductor plays because of the early earnings reports from NVIDIA. That is going to be what it is. I don't think that there's anything to necessarily worry about there. And we'll talk about it a little bit, but really, guys, at the end of the day, I'm live. that was priority number one, was just to get me into space. So I'm in here in Charlotte, North Carolina, still in Charlotte, in an incredible studio. Once I get my bearings around this place, I'll show you guys a little bit around and what this place is all about. It's actually a pretty incredible spot. So I'm super pumped about it. Once I get my lighting worked out and everything else, it'll be fine. It's just some more of those growing pains, right? Let me give the starting five a shout out here. We got Pastor David Hopper, Philip Stroh, Zero Blue Ox, Dead League, Snookeroo. You guys are a part of the starting five. And I see a lot of people chiming in here. This is always a good sound check. As long as I know that people are chiming in from where they're at, I know that people can hear me. So this is good. America says Phantom. Buffalo. We got somebody from Buffalo. Nice. That's awesome. Froggy says, I'm back. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy now as well. British Columbia says Chris. This is awesome. I love this. Froggy's from Georgia. And I love this. Thanks, Lucaru. I appreciate it. Maybe I'm Brad Mafia instead of Bills Mafia. You can be both. That's fine. As a Ravens fan, I'll forgive you for that. We got about 53 of you guys hanging out in here. I certainly would appreciate it if you hit a thumbs up. It has been, obviously a pretty challenging time, but hey, listen, like I said, we'll get through this. It's not anything I'm overly concerned about. If you guys didn't catch some of the news that's been going on last Thursday, of course, we had a bit of a snafu fire that had, put out the electricity. So no electricity means no internet. And so that means that I am without my lifeline to you guys. So ended up finding a place now in temporarily to just while we wait for everything to get back and up and running with the original plans of the studio. And that'll happen, hopefully in a reasonable amount of time. I think that we have some really great people working super hard on getting everything back on track. And I am looking forward to it. I also have some amazing things that are coming down the pipeline. Chaos Media, Chaos, whatever you want to call it. We're continuing to build that media company. And I have some really amazing ideas and some cool things that are coming up for that too that I can't wait to show you guys. And it may actually involve a second channel. So stay tuned for that. I'm super pumped as far as that's concerned. We got Dead League watching live from Germany these days, is what he has mentioned. This is awesome. I love being able to connect with people from all over the globe. Green is in the Netherlands. This is amazing. So, great stuff. So we got earnings today, right? I'm looking at the S&P, or I'm looking at, the S&P right now is down 0.5%. So not really that bad. It's just been kind of it's opened up down and it stayed down pretty much all day. It didn't really accelerate. It just stayed down around that 0.5%. So only down around 21 points. No big deal there to me. Looking at the Dow, and that's down 86 points. Again, 0.25%, not really that big of a deal. The big one, though, here is the Nasdaq. The tech-heavy Nasdaq's down over 1%, 143 points. But even still, with the run that it's had, that tech in general has had, it's not really a surprise to see a little bit of a down day. So I see a lot of people already chiming in about how it's been kind of a terrible day for them. Whatever. Listen, at the end of the day, it is one day. I don't think I would put too much into that. I'm looking at some of my stocks that are down quite a bit, and I'm not really flinching at all. I put something in our Discord chat about this. If you guys are part of the Chaos crew, you would have seen it. My portfolio over the last month is up 56%. Still got a ways to go, to believe it or not, considering how much it has come down because of some of the things that I was in. But it's up 56% over the last month. And so that is kind of what I try to convey my own journey and let you guys know what my own mindset has been. It's like, listen, relax, relax. It has been tough, but we've seen tougher things. And so I don't think that there's a whole lot left to worry about. I think that this wall of worry that a lot of people have had has been way overblown. And a day like today just doesn't seem like we need to worry too much about it. But as I'd mentioned before, we have earnings. We have Coinbase that's reporting, Roblox, the Trade Desk, Unity, Wish. Is anybody still in Wish stock, by the way? Just curious about that. But some other people chiming in. Josh says that denial that the Fed is going to stay the course is real. Small amounts, says Phantom, trading some small stuff. Josh again says that it was don't fight the Fed for years. Now everybody wants to fight the Fed. I agree with that statement. But they fight the Fed on both ways, right? And when the Federal Reserve was easing, right, there was the same thing. People say don't fight the Fed all the time, and then they don't practice what they preach. So I agree with that. I wouldn't say that everything's fine, only Moon, but there are definitely a lot of really great things that are going on in the economy. One of them being jobs. Obviously, we look at the jobs numbers and they're absolutely ridiculous. Some people would argue that job numbers are a lagging indicator, and that is very true, but we're already seeing inflation come down as well. So jobs are staying strong. Never really seen a recession, a true recession, where jobs have been this strong. And listen, there's still two job openings for every one person able to fill it. Still, I don't know if anybody's lived through 2008 or the early 90s, but times were a lot tougher then than they are now. So listen, I know inflation's still a thing, and yes, the economy is slowing. We can't deny that, but there's still a lot of good things going on. And we heard from the travel industry as well. Demand is still ridiculous. We've heard from the airlines, and yes, they're still, even with having their own issues with canceling flights and that sort of thing, demand has still not slowed at all. You got to remember, there's still parts of the global economy as well that are still getting over the effects of COVID-19 and the lockdowns and that sort of thing. So demand is still very strong in the travel industry. We saw record numbers from Booking, Expedia, and Airbnb on their latest earnings just the last couple of weeks. So to me, I don't think there's anything to really worry about in the near term. Now, 2023 could be a whole different story, but leading into the end of this year, I think that we will be just fine. And I actually think that the markets could make a decent rally. That doesn't mean that everything goes in a straight line, which is why we have a little bit of a red day today. So I'm not really all that concerned about it. So what else we got? We have, as I had mentioned, earnings that are going to be coming out. We have about 3.5 minutes or so before the earnings start reporting. As I had mentioned, we have Coinbase as well. Let's go ahead and pull those up. So estimate, this is according to Seeking Alpha. Everybody has different numbers. So this is just estimated earnings per share. The actual is going to be the same across the board, but this is what we're expecting according to Seeking Alpha for Coinbase. And this is going to come in at a loss of $1.23. I think that they could come in for much more than that. Now, there is some interesting points to make with Coinbase. Bitcoin of course, being down, low trading volume as far as that's concerned. We have seen some increased trading volume on the fiat side, on the traditional brokerage side of things. So maybe we could start to see some of that trickle over to Coinbase, but I'm not quite convinced of that. This is going to be a very interesting quarter for Coinbase. Let's go ahead and pull up that chart real quick on Coinbase. So you guys can see what I'm talking about here as I'm chatting away. And there's your chart for Coinbase. Now, listen, just because I think that Coinbase is going to come in with some pretty rough numbers doesn't necessarily mean that the stock can't go up. It's down 10.25% today. It has been obviously very rough virtually since its IPO. Remember its IPO day when it went up to $429? That's this right here, about 18 months ago. $429 on its day of going public, and it has not done anything since, and actually continuing to bleed down. We've heard from them about offloading a lot of employees because of slowing of growth, and so that's kind of been a struggle for them. But what I will say is that out of all the IPOs in 2020 and even in 2021, Coinbase was one of the very few that actually came in and were profitable. Now that's a different story. So that's going to continue to weigh on the stock. This could be a situation though where it gets so bad it's good. And so for me, I think that even if Coinbase comes in and doesn't actually meet expectations, but perhaps maybe comes in line with them or barely misses, the stock could still rally just because of how much it's actually come down. And even just today, with it being down 10.33%. Estimated revenue is supposed to come in at $868 a share. So that's going to be something to pay attention to as well. And so, yeah, those are your expectations for Coinbase. We'll be hearing from them shortly. Let's go ahead and pop over to the a couple of the other ones. Roblox, same situation, except Roblox has never been profitable. Oops. RBLX is that ticker. And so on Metaverse play, obviously still very much in its infancy. This was bought because of growth. People wanted to know what was going on as far as Roblox goes as growth. Now, if you're a longer term investor, I still think that Roblox is still a very good one to check out because they are the leader in the metaverse space, period. There's a lot of players coming into this. Obviously, Meta Platforms has their own agenda as far as the metaverse is concerned, and maybe perhaps there's a struggle for first or second place. But in the meantime, I think Roblox is the stock to own if you're looking to get into the metaverse. This stock is down 3.5%, but it's down a ton from its highs, $141 highs that we saw just back in November of last year. A high point for a lot of tech stocks last year. And so I think that this is also going to be another one to watch for. Estimated earnings per share, again, according to Seeking Alpha here, is at a loss of 26 cents. $626.22 million is going to be the expected revenue. And again, this could be something as well that could be so bad that it's good. But it's had a pretty decent rally. It's up over 100% from its bottoms since its last earnings, which, by the way, it rallied quite a bit off of their last earnings report. So I wouldn't write this one off too much. I actually really like Roblox. Of course, very risky, just considering how much this has come down and the nature of the stock. It's speculative, and they're reporting for a loss. So in a rising rate environment where the Fed continues to raise rates, this is going to become very sensitive to that. And we've already seen it. So this is going to be one to certainly watch for, but I feel good about Roblox. There's a couple other ones. We have Unity Software, ticker symbol U. This also reports earnings this afternoon. And look, I'm covering a couple of them. I'm just kind of highlighting a few. If you guys want me to take a look at some of them as they're coming in, because now the market has officially closed. We're 1 minute into the close. Then shout them out. We're looking at a loss of 21 cents for Unity. $300 million in revenue is the expectation there, 299 to be exact. So in case they come in close, but that to me is certainly one to watch for. Unity has struggled a ton, much more than many of the other ones in this space. It went from 210 all the way down to $29 a share. Just mind-blowing numbers in 6 months. That's how much it fell off the wagon. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And then there's also Wish. $1.68. This thing was $30 a year ago, almost to the day. And so this is going to be very interesting to watch too. E-commerce play. Now, there's been a lot of e-commerce stocks that have actually done pretty well. This stock closed down 9% on the day today. So that's going to be interesting to watch. But their estimated earnings per share are expected to come in for a loss as well. The growth here hasn't been all that great, a loss of 15 cents, $154 million. So super tiny stock here. $1.68 though is where it closed at today. So that'll be an interesting one to watch too. And the trade desk, ticker symbol TTD. This is actually one that I think could end up being the winner of the day. You always try to figure out which ones are going to outshine on the day. And oh, look, this one's already moving. Let me go ahead and just pull up the 5-minute chart, and we'll just go for it. So it closed the day at $54. As I just mentioned, I was actually really excited about this one. I thought this could be the winner of the day. So this stock is moving quite well. It's already up 11% after hours. Let me go ahead and pull up those numbers as I'm chatting away here. So it's now up almost 12%, still flying here. Let's go ahead and see if I can find those. So trade desk is still rocking and rolling here. It looks as if they came in at 20 cents per share. Let me confirm that. $377 million in revenue. The estimate was 364, so that's a solid beat. Yes. So 20 cents per share. The estimate was 18 cents per share, and that stock is rocking and rolling here after hours, now up 11.5%. This is really great news for something like the trade desk that struggled so hard. I mean, this is one that's also come down a ton. $114 back in November is where it sat, now down 50% from that virtually, and now starting to move up 12% on a pretty solid earnings beat. You can see this is a giant. Look at this boner candle here. I mean, just fantastic. So up 11.5%. Let's take a look at a couple of the other numbers here, if I can find some. Let's see. They see, looks like they came in above expectations for guidance. They see Q3 revenues at least 385 million versus the 382 that was expected. So also another good reason why this stock is moving up. The company is just so solid. I really like the trade desk. And even though they've struggled over the last, 9 months or so, it's been, they still haven't lost who they are. And the company itself is fantastic. So not really a whole lot to worry about when looking at something like Trade Desk. I think this is going to be a fantastic long-term play if you guys are looking for some long-term stuff. I actually really like this. Adjusted EBITDA is approximately 140 million. We talked about that too. So really great move out of the Trade Desk. Checking in with you guys. Let's see. See a lot of you guys just chatting away here. Am I the only one still holding Wish? Says Emil. You might be, my friend, but Trade Desk is still climbing here. It's now up over 13% after hours. Wish, by the way, is also moving here, Emil. So hopefully you're not the only one still in it. It looks as if maybe this is starting to move, although it is on low volume. So let me just double check to make sure numbers aren't out. I do not see that they are. So we'll just keep an eye on that one. So just some slight movements there. What I will say is that Roblox is tanking right now. It is down 9.7. Oh, now it's over 10% after hours. Rough day for Roblox, it looks like. Let's see here. As I'd mentioned for them, the estimated earnings per share for Roblox was a loss of 26 cents. 626.2 million was the expectation. Still trying to find those actual numbers, but those were what we were expecting from them. Let's go ahead and see if I can get a good refresh and see what kind of numbers I can pull out here for Roblox. But the stock is tanking pretty considerably here after hours. Starting to fight its way back. Let's see. I think I might have them here. So revenue was up 30% year over year to 591.2 million. What did I say the expectation was? So they missed. It looks like they missed on revenue pretty hard. 626 looks like the expectation, and then the actual was 591. So while having significant growth, they still came in below expectations. So now the stock is down 8% as a result. Looking at a couple other ones, growth across daily active users, hours engaged, and bookings accelerated in July. Year over year growth in daily active users was up 20% 21 and 16% respectively for the hours engaged versus and daily active users. Excuse me. And let's see here. Bookings were 639.9 million, down 4% year over year. So that's not really all that great. Looks like daily active users also came in below expectations. And so that's why the stock's continuing to sell off here. They talked about key metric estimates for July. Revenue was between 205 to 208 million, up 25% year over year. So the growth here is good, but it's not as good as what expectations were. They're quoted as saying we're driving record levels of users and engagement globally as we execute on our innovation roadmap and broaden the appeal of Roblox across geographies and age groups. This is from the CEO. We continue to make progress on key operational and product initiatives to enhance the long-term value of the Roblox platform. And here we have it, where the stock is now trading down 10% after hours. It looks like it might continue to sell off. To me, I think this actually looks like a decent opportunity. I mean, look, Roblox is still going to be speculative in nature, but if you're looking to get in the metaverse, this is the stock to get into. I mean, asking if you have kids, you know where this is at. So you know it's Roblox right now. Kids are crazy about Roblox. The technology is there, and they're a first mover in this space. So to me, I think that this is actually a pretty solid stock to own. Today, obviously not a great day. They came in below expectations on revenue and earnings per share, but the growth is still there. 30% is nothing to really scoff at. So I actually think that this is not a bad quarter for them. Even though they came in below expectations. I think this is actually pretty decent. This could be that 3-day trade rule, right? Where that rule of thumb where it comes in, where people talk about, hey, if they have a bad quarter, wait 3 days, see where the dust settles. I think this is actually probably a good opportunity for Roblox. And am I surprised that they came in below expectations? No, but I think that it's a solid quarter nevertheless. Checking back in with the trade desk, it's given back some of its gains, but not really too much. It's they came in and smashed expectations. They smashed on earnings per share. They came in and beat earnings. They beat guidance on for the third quarter as well, and beat on revenue. Stock is now up 12% after hours. It was up as much as 13%. So not really much give back there. We'll have to see what they say on their earnings call, their conference call. But man, what a solid move and a great quarter for the trade desk, and it's being rewarded as a result. Let's check in on Coinbase. Nothing yet. We'll probably hear from them in a little bit. But let's also check in on Unity Software. Unity doesn't look like it's moving too much, but I think those earnings numbers are probably out. Let's see here. See if I can find those numbers. Oh, wait, looks like somebody actually shared it in the chat. Let me see if I can find that. Mr. KZ, thank you. Says Unity Software sees Q3 sales 315 to 335 versus the 346 estimate. So that's a miss on guidance. Fiscal year 2022 sales 1.3 billion versus 1.35 versus the 1.36 estimate. So below expectations on that as well for guidance. Let me see if I can find some other good numbers here. For Unity Software, still, I can see if I can pull these up. Sometimes it's hard to find some of the stuff. Here we go. So Q2, they came in at a loss of 18 cents, which actually beats the 21-cent estimate. Sales came in at $297 million. They missed that 298 estimate, so a slight miss on revenue by a whole $1 million. I mean, can you imagine $1.3 million that they missed on expectations, and the stock actually isn't doing that bad. So they beat on earnings per share. A loss, less of a loss than what was expected. Came in and missed on revenue. They see, as I'd mentioned, the guidance numbers came in below expectations too, and that could be why the stock's trading down slightly. So they beat on earnings per share. That seems to be the only thing that they actually beat on. They missed on revenue. They missed on guidance. The growth story here is still the story, and so if they continue to give poor guidance numbers, it might be pretty tough for Unity Software moving forward. It's down 2.5%, which honestly I'm a little bit surprised about. That's actually not bad considering, especially the guidance numbers. But we'll see. Checking back in with Roblox, that's now down 13% And to me, this looks like an overreaction at this point, now down 14%. So I wouldn't say to just go all in on Roblox at this point, but I got to say, I still like the company and I still like the technology. The metaverse isn't going anywhere. And once people finally buy into this, the stock should do extremely well. It's just a matter of when, not if, in my opinion. So again, long-term approach on something like Roblox, but this to me looks to be a little bit of an overreaction for them. We'll continue to keep an eye on that. Wish looks like those numbers could potentially be in. Let's take a look. By the way, as I'm looking these up, guys, I see that there's about 265 of you hanging in the stream. So thanks so much for first of all, thanks so much for your patience. All right, you guys, the people in my crew, the people who are the Only Chaos faithful are absolutely amazing. Everything from just transitioning from Baltimore to the Carolinas, and then all the technical issues that we've had kind of leading up to this. It has been amazing. I really can't thank my Chaos crew, my family, enough for all the support that you guys have provided. And a shout out to the Medify fam as well, because the group of people that we have working together down here in Charlotte has been absolutely amazing. Tamp, who is one of our crew in the Medify fam, really pulled through with some of our resources and got me in this spot so that I could chat with you guys today, and everybody else who helped along the way, trying to just find some place for me to continue to stream. So shout out to you guys as well. But man, this is amazing. You guys are absolutely awesome. So thanks so much for all the support, the love, and just getting me out here. And yeah, it's been awesome. So hit that thumbs up button if you haven't done so already. It literally costs $0 to do so, and it really is zero effort too at the end of the day. All right, let's check back in with Wish. You can see the stock's down 6% after hours. And to me, guys, Wish could be in danger of delisting. All they need to do is live under $1 for, I believe it's a quarter. If they live under $1 for 90 days, they could get delisted and go right down to the OTC. This is pretty tough. Revenue was 134 million, which is a decrease of 80% year over year. Wish is going through it, guys. And listen, the expectation was $154 million. They came in at $134 million. So they missed by 20 mil. Okay. 80% down year over year. Core marketplace revenues were 54 million, down 86% year over year. Net loss was 90 million and 19% year over year improvement. Wow. Adjusted EBITDA was a loss of 58 million and free cash flow was negative 67. So this is crazy. To think about. Remember, Wish was on the jerseys of NBA players. This is a really shitty company. And the unfortunate thing is that, yeah, everybody knew that they made shitty products, right? Like Wish was not a company that, anybody thought would buy things for quality, right? But at the end of the day, it was kind of like an online Spencer's Gifts. You guys remember Spencer's back in the day? I feel like that's what Wish was. Spencer's was a fad. I think that Wish is a fad as well. And that's kind of being reflected. Down 80% year over year in revenue. This company's going out of business, I feel like. So anyhow, looks like Coinbase is actually starting to move as well. Let's see here. That's so funny. Let's see here. All right, so we got Coinbase moving. If you guys recall, estimated earnings per share on that was a loss of $1.23. $868 million was the expected revenue for that. It looks as if quarterly revenue fell 31% to $803 million. Coinbase General Global Inc. quarterly share loss of $4.98. Is that right? They came in at a loss of $4.98, and the stock is up. It's now up 5% almost, and continuing to move. I just want to confirm that Coinbase, so $808 million Estimated was 854. So revenue came in above that, but it looks like earnings per share is what really killed them for the quarter. They beat on revenue. This looks right. This looks right. So they came in for a huge loss, but revenue came in higher than expected. I see some of you. Spencer's is the best mall store. How dare you? Listen, I loved Spencer's back in the day. That's where I got my remote control fart machines from. So, yeah. And don't tell me you didn't like those back in the day. If you were a teenage boy or girl, the remote control fart machines are where it's at Spencer's. Coinbase here. So thanks, Mr. KZ, also reconfirming this. Yeah, a loss of $4.98. They missed by $2.68. The revenue came in higher than expected, which could be why the stock was moving up. I mean, that's terrible. A loss of $5, essentially, a loss of $5, and the stock is green and barely. It looks like this is probably going to fall off yeah, and now we're back to red. Not too much of a shock there. Revenue just absolutely got decimated. Ooh, Snookeroo, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. Spencer's had the best blacklight posters, 100%. Jeff Wirtz is bullish on Hot Topic. Yes, and Orange Julius. That's hilarious. I love all the people that are getting salty because we're talking about fucking Spencer's gifts and we're not talking about Coinbase. But what else do you want from this? It was an absolutely atrocious quarter. That's what you want. That's what you want to hear. Coinbase is terrible. Down now 2.5%. So they came in and beat earnings expectations on revenue, but it was still down considerably. I think about 64% from some of the numbers that I'm seeing. Then they came in and a loss of nearly $5, a loss of $4.98. The expectation there was, I believe, somewhere around $1.23 loss. So, I mean, this is really bad. 808 million. So let me correct myself because there's a lot of numbers that come in. It looks like they missed on revenue as well. 808 million versus the 854 million that was expected. And the expectations I had was around 868. So still a miss nevertheless. So they missed on revenue. Loss per share, $4.98. That is, that's the numbers. Now the stock's continuing to sell off. It's down 3% after already being down 10.5% today. After already being down 10.5%, the stock is now selling off. This isn't actually really much of a shock to me. What I thought could happen, and that was kind of the initial reaction. What I thought could happen was that the stock was so bad that it's good, right? We talk about that a lot, where there's such a huge sell-off and the expectations are so low that when they come in and they do have a bad quarter, nobody's shocked. And so it actually can sometimes bring in some buying. And that's what we're seeing right now is a little bit of the opposite. The expectations are even worse than what they thought that investors thought was going to happen. So now the stock is finally selling off. Not too much of a shock here based off of those numbers. That is atrocious. I don't know. I like this. Josh says, remember, bad is good. It'll be green by the opening tomorrow. It's the future, bro. Kathy buying back in. I wonder what Kathy's doing about this. If Kathy Wood liked it at 400, I mean, why wouldn't she like it now? Russ Hughes says, coins of steel under $100. Look back in 2 years. Now, this I don't disagree with. This is let's look at the daily chart, okay? Let's look at a couple things on Coinbase. What do we know about Coinbase? They make their money on crypto trades made in cryptocurrency. And what are we doing right now? What's Bitcoin doing right now? What's Ethereum doing right now? It's terrible. Nobody wants anything to do with it. Everybody's running for the hills. But to Russ's point, and even to Josh to a certain extent, and Shanmuga, I believe I'm sure I butchered this, talks about how Bitcoin crash isn't helping Coinbase. 100%. This is a good time to get in though. remember, Coinbase was one of the few brokerage-related companies that actually came in on its IPO and was profitable from day one. It has not been pretty since then because of how crypto has come down. But if you don't think that Bitcoin is going anywhere, which I don't, and I think that it could actually go a little bit lower before it starts to move back up. And I think that Coinbase is going to be a steal. $84 is where it's sitting at right now. Can it get back down to this $40 bottom that we saw last quarter? Yes. And I think it could, it's very possible. I think it's more possible that we see $40 on Coinbase than back to this 368 we saw back in November. Let's not even talk about the 429 we saw on the day of its IPO. So I think that while Coinbase has been struggling here, I think that there's certainly a strong possibility that it comes back down. And let's just take a look at Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin right now is trading at 23,000. Hasn't been pretty. This is a 5-minute chart. Let's come back out to the daily so I can just kind of show you what's been going on. You know, it bottomed out at 17,500 and has started to move up since, but it's essentially just kind of chilling here, chilling on the bottom, not really doing a whole lot. There's still a lot of speculation. There's a good possibility that this could actually break below the 17,500. Remember back to the last crypto winter that we saw and how volatile Bitcoin was during those times, you know, and then, I don't know. We could see more selling off on Bitcoin leading into the end of the year. And then I think maybe there's a possibility we see this actually start to move back up. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that that's probably the more likely scenario. And if you guys think the same way, but not necessarily looking at just Bitcoin and but something a little bit more related to something like this, such as Coinbase, that is a profitable company, then I think this actually is a good opportunity. Kathy Wood isn't 100% wrong here. She just bought at the wrong time, in my opinion. This is interesting point. Ganesh says coin is still one of the costliest crypto platforms. That's a great point. I'm not quite sure what my thoughts are on that just yet. You know, I think that there's a possibility that they could that could change, but I'm not sure. And you know what? I actually think that I would love to have some other people that are closer to this than I am, such as Peter Saddington or maybe Jaime, who's one of our MetaFi crypto guys that could give a little bit more insight on this. I would love to have them on, and I think that you guys would too. As we wind down some of the earnings season, I think I'm going to dive into this a little bit more. So I'm sure that we'll have some more of those conversations. So stay tuned for that, because I don't want to give an uneducated answer to that. I would love to have somebody who's a little bit more of an expert in this than I am, chatting about that and giving perspective. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you're not already. Never mind, Ganesh. I know that you are subscribed. I know you. So that's Coinbase. That's the sentiment on Coinbase. Right now it's down 5%. I just wanted to check back in real quick on some of the other ones that reported. Trade Desk absolutely crushed earnings, and it's continuing to be rewarded. The stock's up 16.5% and still rocking. I mean, just wow. Unbelievable in this. This is an crazy move. It came in and beat on earnings per share. They also beat on revenue, and actually also came in and beat on guidance expectations. So the Trade Desk is absolutely phenomenal, and this is amazing. Troy Gates says that Coinbase rant though. Listen, sometimes I get on rants. It's been a while since I've been on air, so I have to get used to the diarrhea of the mouth again. Reining it in. I got to rein it back in. Roblox is still down, and they missed expectations pretty much across the board. Guidance wasn't all that great either. The stock's down 13% now as a result. So there you have it on Roblox. Okay. I believe that was all of them. Unity came in and didn't really do much. Stock's down 3.5%. They actually missed on earnings per share. They missed on revenue and didn't do well on guidance numbers either. That stock's down 3.5%. And Wish came in and shit the bed, down 80% year over year on revenue. How does this company survive now? I don't know. I really don't. And I think they get delisted here sooner rather than later. Really tough stuff. for Wish, for those of you who are Wish. I have not mentioned Wynn Resorts. I did forget that Wynn Resorts reported today. Again, guys, it's been a trying day for sure, trying to get myself back online. So forgive me if I did miss a couple. But yeah, Wynn Resorts did report today. The stock's down 2%. Let's go ahead and see if I can find those numbers for you right quick. This has been interesting because, and it's interesting to see that it's down. The only reason I say that is because even if they came in and missed on earnings expectations, Macau is opening back up. If you guys aren't familiar with Macau, they are the largest gambling region in the world, in existence. Think Vegas times 4, times 5 in Asia. And that is where Wynn Resorts gets a lot of their revenue from. So it's been really tough for Wynn, along with Caesars and some of the other ones that are that gain a lot of their revenue in Macau. And so that was interesting to see now that the stock's down at around 2.33%. And maybe this is because of guidance numbers. But let's take a look here. Wynn reports more than $162 million in losses from its WynnBET online sportsbook and iCasino during the first 6 months of 2022, largely from promotions and free bets. Wynn reported $110 million in losses for the first half of 2021. That's on the sports betting side, and that's why I always continue to gravitate towards Penn, because Penn spends $0 on marketing for their Barstool Sportsbook. And I say tongue-in-cheek, $0, but compared to something like Wynn Resorts or Caesars that's spending $1 billion on marketing this year, they're not going to recoup that till God knows when. But guess what? Penn National has a path to profitability in their sports betting side of their company, and that actually probably could come to fruition over the next 6 to 12 months. Let's not forget that Penn is also, I keep saying Penn National, but it's Penn Entertainment now. They changed their name. That they're looking to acquire 50% of Barstool Sports by 2023. So this is going to be one that I think is actually one to leverage when it comes to sports betting, because they're not dumping money into marketing, because they already have the stoolies that they can leverage in Barstool Sports. This is where they're going to win, I think, ultimately. Getting back to win, let's take a look at some of their other numbers here. Looks like revenue fell for the second quarter. I want to confirm this. Let's see. I'm going to give this a little refresh here. But yeah, Wynn Resorts is a little all over the place right now. Now, the stock's only down around 2%. See if I can find those actual numbers. They came in with revenue at $909 million versus the $1.01 billion that was expected. So a pretty decent miss. Missed by 10% essentially on revenue. They came in earnings per share at a loss of 82 cents versus a 94 cents expected. So a little bit better on earnings per share than the actual expectation, but revenue still down quite a bit. And this is actually a little bit of a surprise to me. Not necessarily that they missed, but really the projection here is also a bit of a surprise, only because of the Macau reopening and having less and less restrictions is something that is a bit of a surprise to me personally. But listen, sometimes that doesn't always translate into revenue coming in. I guess we'll have to see what happens in the third quarter and leading into the rest of the year, especially if regulations and restrictions due to COVID and whatever else subsides. I think that Wynn could actually have a pretty decent second half of the year, but we're just gonna have to see. Jay said that Penn is still on pace to becoming profitable by Q4 this year for sports gambling. Thank you, Darren, for that tidbit of information. That is, when he's referring to Jay, that is Jay Snowden of Penn Entertainment as the CEO there. So yeah, the only sports betting platform, in my opinion, and find me another one. Find me another sports betting platform that is going to project profitability by the end of the year. You're not going to find one. You can't. Until somebody does, and then I have to say that I was wrong. But I haven't been able to find one. Penn National to me is it, guys. Is it. Did Plug Power? I thought I saw Plug reporting today. Let me just double check on Plug. That stock's down 3.5%. It looks as if they probably did. I thought they did, but I wasn't 100% sure. Let's double check on Plug Power. Plug came in. They changed their logo on me, which kind of jacked me up. So I wasn't quite 100% on that. It looks like they came in With revenue 151.3 million, that's a beat of the 124.6 million that was expected. They reaffirmed their $900 to $925 million full year guidance. Electrolyzer backlog 1.5 gigawatts. It's $15 billion sales funnel. $3 tax credit apparently improved plant payback by 4 to 5 years. So it looks like it was a decent quarter for them, yet the stock's down 1.5%. Not too much movement there. He came in at a loss of 30 cents. They missed by 9 cents. Revenue came in, as I'd mentioned, $151.27 million. So they missed on that too. I just wanted to reconfirm that. I actually pulled it up on Seeking Alpha. So they missed on earnings per share and on revenue. Not quite sure what that other revenue number, what I was reading there, but so Plug Power missed. They had some pretty decent stuff in there too, on guidance in particular, which is probably holding the stock up a little bit better than it would have if they came in and missed on guidance too. So it's only down 2.5%. If you're invested in Plug Power, you probably are thinking to yourself, well, at least it could be worse. So, okay. Are we doing over under today? So Rohit's, the shit or legit segment, that is coming back. It's not going to come back today. Just as I've continued to get myself acclimated with a new space or a temporary space, it will be back tomorrow. So make sure that you guys are back tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit that notification bell. And I'll be back tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. Eastern time to do it all over again. Again, I can't thank you guys enough for just the support and your patience. It's been one of those things, guys. It's gonna be an awesome story to tell once it's all said and done. But it's been crazy, absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and take a look. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a preview on what's to be expected for tomorrow. Let's see here. Upcoming earnings. I'm going to pull this up here. So tomorrow's expected. I think we have a decent amount of earnings coming out tomorrow afternoon. Let me pull this up. So yeah, we do. We have Disney, Dutch Bros, Coupang, Matterport, another metaverse play, Sonos, which I think Sonos has been crushing it. It doesn't matter what environment Sonos has been. They've been crushing it. That's going to be a sleeper. So we got Sonos and Bumble. Pre-market that comes out, Jack in the Box, Wix, Jumia, which is the African e-commerce play, similar to like an Amazon. Wendy's is also tomorrow pre-market. So we can react to some of these other ones that are coming out pre-market tomorrow afternoon. Again, 3:45 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I love you guys to death. So enjoy your evening. I'll see you tomorrow.